Guys, we are here. There's no power cut, but there's a problem with the internet in Barnes, so we can't get anything on the screens. So it's all black. Charlie's wearing black. You said, Kev, you've got quite a lot of black on as well. Celebrating Tottenham's funeral, is that correct?
Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, we are. We're celebrating the demise. Another great day. What more can we say about it,
Mate? I'll tell you what. We're starting this podcast a little bit later than we were meant to. There was a Tottenham fan who walked out and he was telling us about it. And I couldn't imagine being a Tottenham fan. I really couldn't.
Because some sort of social experiment, isn't it? It's mental. Like 1 week you think like everything's great at beating City 4-0, then you lose in Ipswich, losing the Crystal Palace, chucking away 2-goal leads like nothing. It's can't be good for the health, that.
But you know what it is? Like, even 2 years ago, I mean, I felt like there was no hope at one point. I think we all felt like that. I mean, we knew it can't get worse than this, right? Than what we had under Potter and that period. But imagine supporting a team and you know that it's never, ever going to get better. And it never has. And it never will. That's your life. That's your bloodline. Your parents supported Tottenham. Your grandparents supported Tottenham. Your kids, your grandkids, they have to watch that crap every single week.
Forever. But, come on. They've got to be kind of happy. Obviously, the football's horrendous. Trophy cabinet's empty.
I love it, mate.
Look at the ground. That's the first time I've been there. Look at the ground. Like, I'd happily rock up.
It's Chelsea's training ground. It's Chelsea's training ground.
But for them to participate in that ground on a weekly basis, man, they've got to be happy to be watching the team. It's a phenomenal stadium, but that's the only thing we can say about Tottenham.
Man, I'd rather watch my team in a shithole and win than rock up to some nice place and just get bad every week.
The thing is, what I recognised about them as well, sellouts, the NFL banner on the stadium, and I hate that at Chelsea. And it basically goes to show that you sold your soul out to Americans. You got the banner, and I think it was F1 or something on the.
I wouldn't have a problem with that personally, because if it's bringing money into the club,
it's a multi. All these new stadiums are multi-purpose. Like Emirates holds like concerts and that. They're all multi-purpose. But
it's not affecting the pitch itself.
Yeah, but you just
or the quality of the pitch that the teams are playing on. And I think if it's bringing in, I don't even know how much money Tottenham make, but they must make good money.
Business-wise, it's healthy, but like the results on the pitch are obviously poor.
Well, they've got to compensate for no Champions League football somehow. And that's the reality of it. But listen, I mean, we were all at the game yesterday. Lewis was there as well, but everyone asking where Lewis is. He pulled a sickie. So Lewis, I mean, that's why they call him Carefree Lewis G. Man doesn't give a fuck. No, I'm joking. But yeah, hopefully Lewis feels a little bit better. But we were all there in the away section. You said to me yesterday, Kev, and I'll start with you. You said it was the best game you've ever been to.
Best away day. Just wow. 2-0 down and I was gutted. But there was just that little bit inside me that thought, you know what? Just get that goal. Sancho, what a finish. It was literally, the way that ball just went around the keeper, it was just so good. And I thought, you know what, we're gonna win this. And for us to turn it around and beat them 4, I keep saying 4-2. It felt like a 4-2, but it was actually 4-3. For us to beat them 4-3 in their own yard, when they went 2-0 up, they was giving it all the Billy Big Bollocks, and we just gone and turned them over like that. Yeah, fascinating. It's such a brilliant game to watch as well. It had everything in it. It had the slips, trips, penalties, Benenkas, everything. So definitely up there. I think that and Anfield away, Hazard goal. That's probably 2 of the best away days I've been to. But I woke up this morning happy, man. I watched that video about 50 times in my bed. That Panenka penalty by Palmer. What a guy, you know. He's bringing this group of players have brought Chelsea back, and not only that, all credit to the manager because obviously the talented squad we had last season we couldn't get it together, but this season there's so much structure within the team. We've got the Chelsea back in, and it's like we're back in love. It feels like the fans and the players and the coaches have got that we didn't have last season. I mentioned last year where it felt like Pochettino would just win, lose or draw. He'd just walk straight down the tunnel, and the players would just do the same thing with him. But now Maresca's saying, "Go to the fans, go to the fans." He doesn't want to take the plaudits for it. He just walks off himself. So he's kind of brought everyone back together, and that's good, because we've always had that with Chelsea, where the fans and the players have always had that relationship, and it was lost. Last 2 years, it's been lost, but now we're seeing it. It's back. Chelsea back in firing all cylinders. Fans, club, the fans, the players, coaches, everything. So happy days. Happy days.
Yeah, man, I don't know what it is about going there. Like the last 2 years has just been crazy games. Probably last year's was probably a bit more crazy than obviously the one yesterday. But I don't know what happens when we go there and we play them, because you don't really get that many mad games when Tottenham come to Stamford Bridge. But whenever we seem to go there, the games just seem to be mental. And yesterday was nothing different. But I think the big difference to this team is, like, even if we're down in a game, whether it's 1 or 2-0, you still got that belief that we're going to come back. In previous years, even last year or the season before, that would have been it. You would have resigned yourself to the fact that the game was done after 10 minutes. But even with this one, I knew that if we get one back before half time, we would probably still win that game, because we've got so much attacking quality. There's so much belief in the team. The players believe in what they're being told to do. They know exactly what they're doing. And there was no panic when we went 2 down. We just kept on playing our football. We knew the chances would come, and we knew that we'd have the quality to obviously to make the chances and to score those goals. And that's exactly what we did. And Tottenham played into our hands a little bit. They didn't alter their game plan at all. They should have sat back a little bit, played a bit more conservative at 2-0, made it a bit more difficult for us. But they just carried on doing their gung-ho stuff. Midfield was wide open, defensively so much space in behind the fullbacks. And when you do that against a team like us with the quality that we've got, that you're going to get punished. And that's exactly what we did. I didn't for one moment ever think we were out of that game. Yeah, it was the worst point. It was the worst game to have, like, your worst 15 minutes of the season in, with that opening 15. Obviously, Cucurella's unfortunate that he slips twice. But even with those 2 slips, right, that doesn't lead directly to the goals. Particularly that first one. Colwell could have done better, a little bit better there. Sanchez, I'm not saying he could have saved it, but he just dives a complete wrong way. And then obviously the second goal, we should do better. It's a good shot from Kulusevski, but why are we showing him inside? We should have showed him down the line. So look, I think from a defensive standpoint, yes, Cucurella's slips let them in, but there's still a lot of time between him slipping and the ball ending up in the back of the net, where we could have done things a little bit better. And so that's what I would say was probably the only negative on the afternoon, was the fact that defensively we still do look pretty vulnerable. But Maresca deserves credit, by the way. He made a little switch at half time. He switched Colwell and Badiashile round from left to right. And that seemed to make quite a big difference. But if you're talking about Tottenham, right, they're other than Cucurella slipping and gifting them 2 opportunities, they barely had any other chances. All right, Son had 1 shot in the first half, which I think went just over, which maybe could have done a little bit better. But other than that, mate, they barely created anything. So, yeah, it was a chaotic game, but I always felt like it was. I never felt we were out of that game. I always felt we were going to win it, even at 2 down, and that's fair play to Maresca, the players they've kind of instilled that belief back into the fans now, and their heads aren't dropping, and the mentality is good, the morale's good in the squad, and everything the manager's doing, everything the players are doing is paying off. And when you're playing well, everything goes your way.
Yeah, I think that's very well said. At half time, I thought to myself, and I was arguing with Ricky, who some of you may have seen on the channel.
Rick.
Yeah, I was arguing with Ricky because Ricky wasn't happy, and I was saying, Ricky, it's not even that bad, mate. Like, we were 2-1 down, and I couldn't have had many complaints about what we would have done on the ball. Obviously, the mistakes, they're individual errors. They're not even footballing errors, really. It's preparation, because you've got to wear the right boots.
Yep.
And actually, Cucurella did a post on Instagram. He put his boots in the bin, but I looked at them. To me, I don't play football.
Well, it must do with the studs, though.
But they look like they were studs. That's what was confusing to me.
You can get different lengths of stud and things like that.
The short ones, you can get the longer ones.
So it's not that he wasn't wearing studs; he was just wearing studs. No, it would have been the length of the stud. That story, right? He then deleted it pretty quickly afterwards, because I think the boot sponsor probably would have been onto him. With your boots sitting in the bin, it's like, maybe take that one down.
Yeah, the Nike would have
I don't know who's he with Puma or whoever he's with. Yeah.
Nike,
That's probably not that. Probably didn't go down too
sponsorship
well.
deal would have been down.
That's fair enough.
Would have been in the bin as well.
Yeah.
I think they could understand why he was doing it, but obviously from a commercial point of view.
But it's nothing to do with the actual boot. It's just obviously he's got the wrong studs on essentially.
Okay, because I remember when we conceded that second goal, I immediately, obviously, I was filming it, and I panned over to Cucurella and I saw Caballero and Maresca. Maresca was giving it this. Caballero was going, just come on, let's change him. And he did it. And it's good, though, isn't it? I mean, to be in a position where we just spoke to that Tottenham fan before we started recording. He knew they were going to lose and they were going to bottle it. We knew that we were going to get something out of this game, and we said the same thing on the train, Kev. We bumped into another Tottenham fan, and bless him,
loads of him.
he thought we were Tottenham fans, and we tried not to take the piss out of him.
We was going ahead of it. He was like, "How do you think we're going today, lads?" I was like, "Yeah, we played well." And then we just thought, you know what? I was honest enough. I said, you know what, mate?
No, Kev, you missed the part. He went, I fucking hate Chelsea. And I went, oh no. Bastards.
But a big giveaway was little Ben with CFC tattooed on his neck, and then when he walked out, there was like, "You Chelsea?" I was like, "Ben, be quiet. Ben, be quiet. We're gonna get kicked in."
They were nice though.
It was right, but you can't trust them.
Kev bought he had a Jamaican. He got a jerk chicken or something.
Stewed chicken, rice and peas.
Oh mate, Jamaican, and he was going to throw it away. He'd eaten only half of it.
Did you finish it off?
Man, of course I finished
it off.
Of
course
he
did, mate.
Creased it off. Literally nothing but bones left.
There was an old lady sat opposite us on the train home.
Yeah, and you just boxed it off.
No, well, Benny was going to get off the train, but then there was a cancellation on the next one, so he come back on the train. So I'd finished the chicken or whatever, and I put it on my lap, and I put it on the floor because it's empty. It's not going to spill. There's nothing in there. This old lady opposite me says, "Don't put it on the floor. Pick it up." It's going to be all right. Don't worry about it. She kept going on about it, and then her husband chipped. I just went, "It's going to be fine." It was a bit awkward after that, wasn't it?
Well, to be fair to you, though, this is why I don't bring food in the underground because of moments like that. I was going to.
Was it the underground? Was it?
Yeah. We got food in Tottenham and was going to go into Euston. And just before I got to Euston, I was just about to throw it. Alex was like, "No, I can't. I feel a bit."
Oh mate, I thought you meant on the overground train. It's a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit sketchy on the underground. Yeah. Like smashing out a full meal on the underground is a bit rogue.
That's what I did. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Sandwich is all right in that, but yeah, going full meal on the underground is rogue. Yeah.
Stew chicken, rice and peas. Yeah, man. But even the Tottenham fans in the stadium yesterday could sense. You kind of sensed it when they went 2-0 up. They weren't singing nothing. It was quiet, and I feel like they felt like that goal was coming. And when Sancho scored, that's when they literally sat down. They knew what was coming.
They put more effort into chucking things at Palmer, taking the corners, and actually supporting their team.
Yeah.
They did. I mean, that's bad as well. They must get fined for that.
I
don't even know what they were throwing.
It was like paper aeroplanes. I think with the tifo things where they're holding up the cards at the start to make the little tifo thing, they were like paper aeroplane in them. I mean, I suppose when your team's so crap, you've got to try and amuse yourself somehow, aren't you?
Yeah. There you go. But
trying to unsettle and distract Cole Palmer for taking corners, which is foul. But he got his player in the match award, and he stood right next to
they posed next to the Spurs badge. They've definitely done that on purpose.
He posed right next to it, didn't he? So
I mean, it's interesting as well. The whole narrative around Cole Palmer. Does he perform in the big games? Penalty merchant is another one I hear as well. But to be fair. First of all, I mean, you can't actually criticize. The guy's never actually missed a penalty for Chelsea.
But he's set a Premier League record now. Most penalties scored in a row without missing in the league. Like, because I think it's 12 in a row now. The previous record, I think, was Yaya Toure with 11. So, taking penalties is hard. Like, mate, scoring penalties is harder. Like, people discredit penalties, right? But then they'll say, "Oh, a tap-in's fine from like 2 yards out." Mate, it's so much harder to score a penalty than it is to score a tap-in.
Concentration, and for his Panenka penalty. That's not only concentration. That is having confidence behind.
Yeah, because
that's having that inner to do it in the Tottenham end as well with all the Tottenham fans in front of you, and for you just to go there and just think over the keeper. That goes to show about he's got the inner confidence of a world class player now. That's not a top 5 player. That is world elite quality. So we can't to score 13 penalties in a row. That's no other player's doing that.
Well, what's Balotelli's record?
I think he's past that now.
No.
Well, in terms of consecutive penalties scored, yeah.
Balotelli had more than 20.
Oh, no, but we're talking about
In the Prem.
consecutively scored.
What do you mean? I mean, if you don't miss, it is consecutive.
No, I know, but he set a Premier League record of scoring penalties. 12 consecutive Premier League penalties scored is a new Premier League record. The previous record of consecutive penalties scored was Yaya Toure with 11.
So he's
What was Balotelli's record then? I'm confused. I thought that was the record.
No, the record was Yaya Toure with 11.
What was Balotelli's penalty record then? Because that's what everyone spoke about.
Well, no, I think Balotelli did have a good penalty record in general,
It's
but
better than Toure's.
no, it might be, but he didn't score 11 in a row in the league because he wasn't a Premier League. He wasn't really penalty taker at Man City.
No,
it was more Aguero and obviously Yaya Toure taking them.
Actually. Yeah, sorry. So that must have been just his general record.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Not
His
Premier
general
League.
record, not Premier League.
I was thinking, I'm sure he had the record.
But it's also when you got to take a penalty twice in a game as well, it's always more difficult that second time round because you're thinking like, do I go the same way? Is the keeper going to go the same way? Or is the keeper going to go the other way and thinks that I'm going to change my ideas? But yeah, as Kev said, having that confidence to do that because if it goes wrong, you look really stupid. And if that had gone wrong,
would have been 3-3.
We would have been 3-3 with a goal conceded at the end. So, I mean, yeah, look, you got. I think the biggest difference this season is there's so much trust in the players and so much trust in the coaching staff. Whereas before, I don't think the fans trusted the players. I don't think they was trusting the management. I'm not sure if the players trusted in what previous managers were doing. But now, like everyone's pulling in the same direction. Everyone's on board with the direction that we're going in. And that's such a big change, being able to trust the players on the pitch. Like, yeah, we were like annoyed and, pissed off that we'd gone 2 down early doors, but no fans that I was near, or I don't think any Chelsea fans in the away and in general, like thought the game was done or thought that we wouldn't come back to get something. And that's such a big mentality shift from previous years.
100%. And one of the things as well that, and maybe some fans already believe this, but I'm very, very glad that we have this style of, it is attacking football, but it's also quite pragmatic in its own way. A bit like what we saw with Maurizio Sarri. When you see us dominating the play, unlike what we saw with Tottenham, they only have 2 players back. You see sometimes 4 or 5 players behind the ball. If there is a counter-attack, it's going to be very easy to cut that out. Also, recycling the ball is not going to be difficult when you've got enough players in the right positions. And I think that when we improve the defensive aspect, and I think, to be honest, I think a lot of that is just player for player. Cucurella's mistakes are individual. That's not down to the management. Badiashile wasn't on his natural side. I think we can certainly have an improvement if we were going to reinforce in January and the summer. And just those little things. I mean, and Robert Sanchez is obvious. But if we can improve individually in those sense, I can see us having a much better defensive record. And maybe that's why Maresca said in the past, because he said he doesn't think we have a problem defensively. He thinks it's actually okay.
Well, if you look at the stats, mate, I think we're 3rd or 4th best defensive record in the league this season so far. So I think, look, defence is definitely our weakest area, but I do think we also get a little bit of an unfair rap defensively. We're nowhere near as bad as what people make us out to be defensively. Like, if you look at the goals we've conceded this season, how many? There's very few of those goals you can say, do you know what, fair play. The opposition, carved through us. A lot of them are self-inflicted. And look, defensively, we definitely will get better, and it's definitely the weakest area of the team. Of course it is, and it's the one that probably needs the most improvement. But we're not that bad defensively. We've only lost 2 games all season. We lost 2 games out of 15 in the league. If your defence is crap, then that simply isn't happening. So it needs improvement, but I don't think it's as bad as what people make out.
No, not really.
Do you like the partnership, Kev, of Badiashile and Colwell?
Not particularly, no. I feel like when you've got 2 left footers at centre half, it's unbalanced. And like Charlie said, when you made the tactical substitution at half time to change them round, maybe because he felt like Colwell was better with his right foot than Badiashile. I think Badiashile is a lot more left footed than Colwell. It's a bit unbalanced. You got 2 players that want to go to that. When you're left footed, you think if you're playing from the back, if you're left footed, what side are you going to go to? That side or that side? When you're right foot, you're going to want to go to your right side. So maybe the ball was going too much towards Cucurella's side. So I feel like we need a left foot and a right footed player in there to give that balance. But Badiashile, what can we say? Considering the performances he had in the pre-season to now, he has come on. He's come on, fair play. I was saying get rid of him start of the season, but he's obviously come on and he's becoming a good squad player. So,
but I mean, let me ask you this, Kev, because we see all the time two right-footed players. So why would that be an issue having two left-footed players?
Usually you get a left and a right footer now in most
I mean,
teams. Yeah.
and a lot of the top teams, that's fine. But I mean, we've had plenty of good defence. Rudiger's a great example of a right-footed player who played on the left-hand side.
But he was decent 2 foot with 2 feet. Though, wasn't he, Rudiger?
So you still think that we should invest in a different player on?
That's the way I see it. I like your left back, your left-sided, left-footed centre back, your right-sided, right-footed centre back, and then your right back.
It's like a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah. I just like it balanced throughout. You see, but obviously Badiashile, he's been good since he's been back. No complaints. I can't say it's the best centre back pairing we've had at Chelsea. Nowhere near, but they're not conceding many goals. I think the goals that we conceded yesterday wasn't their fault. Like you said, Colwell could have probably reacted a bit quicker. I think he was a bit, slow and getting out. But we can say that there's improvements to be made. But for now, 14 goals conceded. 14 goals conceded.
We've conceded a few more.
16 now.
About 16 or 17 we've conceded.
16 goals conceded. That's probably about third, fourth. And that's not bad at all. And for Fofana being out, that's a massive reason why. I think he's been our best centre back this season.
Yeah.
Up until his injury. So your best centre back's out again for another couple more months. I feel that that's the place we need to invest in. Goalkeeper and another centre back.
But there's another argument that Jorgensen should have started that game, and especially if you look at his performance against Heidenheim, for example. I think he saved 12 shots in that game, the most in since the stats were counted. But I have to agree with that. I think that Sanchez, one thing we've given him credit for during the season has been his shot stopping. But in this game, it wasn't his mistakes that let us down. But he had nothing for me that made me think, I trust you in goal. He had one chance.
But being a good shot stopper is not enough for modern day goalkeeper.
No, it's not.
You've got to be so much. You've got to be so much more than that. It just makes a decision not to play him against Southampton just a little bit strange, because your goalkeeper is not a position you rotate due to rest players. I'll be very interested to see how many teams over this festive period rotate their goalkeeper. I'd probably say out of the 20 teams that are going to play, maybe one or two at best might rotate their keeper. It's a position you just don't rotate. So why did he play Jorgensen knowing full well that Jorgensen wasn't then going to play on Sunday? For me, if you're making a change in your goalkeeper, it's because you're making a change. You're making a new number one. You normally have you have your goalkeeper for the Premier League and you have your cup goalkeeper, and normally the goalkeeper comes in. Your cup goalkeeper, your second choice, comes in if he's going to be the new number one.
I didn't have a problem with it.
I didn't have a problem with it, but I just didn't really, didn't really understand why you would do that.
It makes sense because he's trying to increase the confidence of Jorgensen.
Sure, and he played well, but he knows full well that he's not going to make a change. So
there's a real chance that Jorgensen could come in, and I'm not saying it's going to be in January or February, but there's a good chance that Jorgensen could be our number one next year. And he needs as many minutes as he can get. And also, you've got to be able to justify to Sanchez, if he is your number one, why are you being dropped? And a game against Southampton, you can justify it easily because they're the worst team in the league.
To get Sanchez out of the team.
Yesterday again, he kicked the ball through the middle. That's 2-3 times he's done it.
I honestly haven't. I can't believe Fraser Forster has better distribution than Robert Sanchez.
We were both at Southampton, right? And were any fans nervous at all when Jorgensen got the ball at the back?
No.
Exactly. As soon as Sanchez comes back in goal yesterday,
what's gonna happen.
Everyone is nervous, worried about what he's going to do when he's got the ball at his feet. That is not a good position to be in for as a goalkeeper. Maresca's not stupid, by the way. He's intelligent. He's a good manager. He knows what he's doing. He must know full well that this Sanchez guy isn't it. But I think that maybe he's refraining from making that change because he doesn't think that Jorgensen's fully ready or he doesn't fully trust him yet. But how much more evidence do you need? I mean, I don't want to waste time talking about Sanchez, but you don't need any more evidence. All the evidence is there. This guy's not going to get any better.
He's done it. He does the same thing on a week, but it's not like once a month he'll do something bozo. The guy does the same thing every single week. I looked up at Charlie. I said Charlie, and I remember he had so many options. He had Cucurella out left. He had Caicedo out right. He had Jackson he could have gone over the top with. He had about 5-6 options. All he had to do is put his foot on the ball, look up and play it out. What did he do?
Went straight
Whacked
out.
it straight through the middle across the floor to their player. I think it went to the Basuma. I looked up at Charlie. Charlie's looked livid with it.
The thing is,
He looked
if it went
pissed
to
off.
one of our own players, it would have looked great. But
Nah,
it
but
never
it-
goes
but it
to
never
our
does,
own
though. It
players.
never does.
Look. You're talking about a Premier League goalkeeper here that does this on a regular basis. Like, technique as a goalkeeper, that's what you should be working on, how to kick that ball off the floor. He's spooning that ball every single week for the middle. Like, it's been for 2 seasons. He's done the same thing at Arsenal at home last year when he gave the ball to Declan Rice.
I think
He's doing it every single week.
I think the biggest issue is that he's not showing any signs of improvement. That for me is a big thing, because like, players will make mistakes and stuff, right? But you go through the team this season, there are so many players that have made big strides forward under Maresca. He hasn't made any strides forward, and he doesn't look like he's gonna. He doesn't look like he's going to improve either. So I just look at it and I just think, like, what is this guy? Like, what are we doing here? Because he's going to cost us in games. He already has cost us in games, and he's going to cost us in further games. You know, if we want to get back to competing where we want to be, challenging at the top of the table on a regular basis and winning the biggest trophies, you're not going to do that with Robert Sanchez in goal. It really is that simple. So, I mean, we'll have to wait and see what happens to the remainder of the season. I don't think he fully trusts Jorgensen yet. Jorgensen will obviously get another chance in Kazakhstan on Thursday. I don't know how tested he's going to get there. But, I mean, I at this point, I'm still convinced that it's going to take a Sanchez injury for Jorgensen to get a run in the league this season.
Can I just go back to Kazakhstan? You said that Trevor told you. Trevor's Jacob's dad, for those of you who don't know. Only 70 Chelsea
Apparently
fans
only
from
70 going out,
England,
yeah.
presumably, are travelling to Kazakhstan, which almost gives me a bit of FOMO, because it's a bit like Baku when we were playing in Azerbaijan.
Yeah, that's a final, though.
Yeah, but like, it's so difficult to get there. If you go there, I don't know, it's just an amazing feeling knowing that I went when nobody else could go. And me and my dad just agreed the other day we're not going to go to Kazakhstan because it's so expensive. I was actually going to go. He invited me because my dad lives in the Middle East. He invited me to come see the Fury fight, but I've bloody organised a Christmas dinner with my mum, haven't I? So I can't go.
I'll be like, I'm sorry, Mum.
Mum.
I'm ill on Saturday. I can't come.
Oh, nightmare.
So yeah, I was hoping I could have gone down and seen Shargy and all the rest of them, but yeah, I think I'm just going to be Everton away, Shamrock at home. And, that's as much travelling as I've got going on at Christmas time, but it'll be good. But yeah, I mean, Kazakhstan's going to be an amazing trip, and anyone who can go or has made the time to go.
It's been like -8 out there.
Well, it's not just the weather; it's the financial commitment, the flights as well. You
it must
can't
be
get a
very
direct
expensive, like,
flight.
whole-
Yeah, there's no direct flights. You've got to do like 2 or 3 flights to get there.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Well,
So big up to everyone
the
who's
70
doing
fans that are going. Absolutely, yeah. I moan about driving to London
I
for
mean,
hours.
I mean, that's a mad trip.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Romeo Lavia as well. I mean, probably one of our best players in the first half. But
really good.
We thought it was a tactical decision, but he had a bit of tension in his hamstring, which is why he did come off.
I did say, was having a conversation in the concourse. I said I feel like Lavia needs to come off. We don't want to rush him back. He is key, pivotal to where we want to play. He's so press resistant. He's probably one of the best press resistant centre midfielders I've seen in a long time. The way he can scan one way, turn the other way. He can hold players off, travel with the ball. The guy, he's been the games I've seen him. He's been phenomenal.
In that first phase, he's so good at receiving the ball off the defenders, and then he shields it that turn, and then he plays it into the midfield, and we're away.
His passes with the way he passes the ball. A couple of occasions where he passed the ball from deep into Enzo, passed it into Casado wide. He puts that oomph into that ball where the ball travels. Such a good pass with the ball. And when Gusto came, I felt like Gusto had to come on anyway. So even if it wasn't a tactical substitution, I felt like Gusto needed to give us that width out right, because Caicedo had a good game, but I feel like you need that balance. Caicedo's not going to want to overlap, and you can see it second half straight away. When we were sitting there, we were sitting this side of the pitch from me. So how many times was Chelsea's attacking play in that corner.
Well, it's Gusto and Neto down that
Gusto,
side, yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of play coming. First half, the ball was all over the left because obviously that's where Cucurella was overlapping that side. So tactically, again, Enzo Maresca making the substitutions when he has to. He's got it right so many times. He's not hesitating. I think Pochettino last year used to get to that the 65th minute. We were scratching it, thinking, what's he going to do here? And Maresca's not dwelling on it. You can see it first half time, he'll change it, and then look straight away within 10 minutes we've got a goal. That's all down to the manager's tactical decisions. He's winning us games. I
mean, the midfield itself is one of our strongest assets, and it's not the beauty of it is the way it's panning out is very different to how I thought it would from the way we started, the lack of rotation we saw from Maresca, which is now starting to change. We're seeing a lot more tweaks. I thought we were going to see consistently, based on the first couple of games, I thought we were going to see Caicedo and Lavia, or Caicedo and Enzo. I think you always had to pick between the two of them. But what we've seen in recent weeks is you can bring Caicedo in as an inverting right back. You can play Enzo further up the pitch, which something I never thought was going to happen. But also, it's a different, like the way Enzo Fernandez played at the beginning of the season when he was playing sort of not quite as a 10, but not quite as a 6, more of an 8. But he wasn't making those runs into the box, and he wasn't getting himself into goal-scoring positions. And the criticism I always had with Fernandez is, well, you don't have the pace to be able to track back as quickly as we need you to. Defensively, you're not contributing enough. He's never struck me as a goal-scoring midfielder since he's been at Chelsea. He scores the odd wonder goal. So I'm thinking to myself, what are we actually getting out of this guy? So play him in his natural position. I think we all can agree that we've seen Fernandez in previous times playing his best football under Graham Potter when he was orchestrating. So that's what I said we do. But then you say, well, if you put him there, what are you going to do with Caicedo, who's probably a better player to have in that position for defensive reasons? So what Maresca has done with Enzo Fernandez is absolutely genius. And I mean, I keep getting called out on Twitter by people, to be honest, I've never even heard of. But fair enough. I'm happy to sit here and say I was wrong, but I will stand by the fact that Lavia is a better player in that pivot position, and it just happens to be great timing and great for the team, really, that Fernandez can take up this role,
he's
getting in those positions and scoring goals from midfield.
I don't even think it's the majority of it's down to Maresca. I feel like the situation at the start of the season didn't help. Like, he's had 3 of the worst things that can happen to you as a human being. Like, lost his driving licence, got accused of all the racism, and coming back to Chelsea with the majority of the players being black. Imagine how that feel. And obviously having a divorce with your wife, all in the space of 2-3 months. I mean, you got to think as a human being.
I don't think the driving license and the missus is actually. I mean, you make that seem like he's the victim. I think he initiated the divorce.
No, but it's still difficult though.
Oh, of course, mate. Of course, his family are not living. His missus is gone now. Like, his kids are gone. So imagine.
But if he really wanted to make it work, like, I don't want to dive too much.
We don't know what goes on behind
you
closed
would.
doors.
I mean, in my opinion, if you really wanted to make it work, you probably wouldn't get divorced that quickly. From what we
I
were
don't even know
aware,
if he was married.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he would.
I don't know.
Why did we say divorce?
Well, anyway, whatever.
Mate,
but that's not easy. That's not easy to turn up every day and try and perform in front of tens of thousands of people when you got loads of things going on.
But what's the celebration for then? He's waving it in her face. He's saying, "Call me up, ladies."
I don't know. That's to his ex.
You think that's to his ex?
It could be something for his. I don't know.
Neymar was doing it before, wasn't he? When he split with his girl, he used to do that phone. Gabriel Jesus as well used to do it, didn't he?
Yeah, but that's because she left him, not because he left her.
Maybe she left him then.
I don't know, but he's playing really well. I said you after the game, mate, as well. I think the biggest thing with him is, for the first time, probably since he arrived at Chelsea, he looks fully fit. Like, that hernia issue that he was playing through last season was obviously definitely not helping. He's now getting around the pitch, and the biggest thing is, Maresca's banged on about it with him for last few weeks. Arrive in the box. You need to arrive. If you're playing in that sort of number 8 kind of position, you have to arrive in the box. And now he's added that arriving into the box to his game. Arrived in the box against Leicester, crucial goal. Arrived in the box against Tottenham, crucial goal. He's arriving in the box against Aston Villa, crucial goal. Like, this is now what you need from a midfield player. I'm not saying that he needs to score 10 goals a season, right? But But if you can have your midfield players chipping in with, say, 5-8 goals in the league, setting goals up and whatnot, that contribution is so valuable. And now he's actually adding that aspect to his game, which makes him a more rounded, a more complete midfield player. Because what he's doing on the ball is great. His passing's great. We know that. He's adding goals to his game now. And another thing he's getting much better at as well, and something I criticised him for, is his discipline out of possession. He's got a lot better off the ball now, which is a big thing in the Maresca system. And, obviously Enzo deserves credit himself because he's the one that's actually making those improvements. But the manager deserves credit as well for highlighting those things and working on them. And to be honest, I think when he got dropped for Lavia at that game away at Liverpool, I think that's really the best thing that happened to Enzo was him being taken out of the team for a few games, maybe reignite that hunger in him. And now, since he's come back after the international break, he's been a completely different player. He's everything we thought he was going to be. He looks like the player he was at the World Cup. Having been a guy that people thought shouldn't be in the team, he's now one of the first names on the team sheet.
Yeah, I mean, what's your stance on Fernandez, Kev? I mean, did you? I mean, I was very much critical, and I was happy to sit here and say I didn't think he was good enough. Because I mean, let's not kid ourselves, he wasn't. But I don't think anyone that was in my camp, at least, that was very doubtful of him, foresaw him coming back and performing to such a great level in a totally different position, really, in such a short space.
We all were saying, come on, we've got to put our hands up, to be honest. I think it was about 4 weeks ago we had a pod, didn't we? I think it was Tchouaméni and Enzo swap deal. Every single one of us.
Yes.
Charlie said it as well. Every single one of us said we'd swap him. I'd say swap him now. And the turnaround since then, you wouldn't swap him, wouldn't you?
No, but
no, you wouldn't now. You wouldn't now. That goes to show, in football, things can turn around quickly. Things can turn around quickly, and there's got to be a reason. I was saying there's got to be a reason why Enzo Fernandez's performance has declined from the Enzo that started off at Chelsea to now. Because we all know he can do it. There was something. Was it his fitness? Was it personal problems? There was definitely something behind the scenes what was stopping him from being the World Cup Fernandez and the number 5 Enzo what started for us. Obviously, his performances come on. I am completely and utterly happy that the guy is showing us leadership. He's connected with the fan base. He's putting everything in. His movement's getting better. Picking the balls in pockets. He's not giving the ball away as much. Chipping in with assists, goals. He's back. And you said to me 3 weeks ago, is he back? And I said, not yet. He was close. I said, we need to see more consistency. Now the consistency is there. We could probably say he's back, but does it stop there? No, it doesn't. You're captain of Chelsea. These performances can't drop now. They only can get better and better and better. So we've still got to remind ourselves that you can slip off, but for now, we've all got to be happy with how he's changed it around, because for me personally, I wanted him out only 3 weeks ago, but now goes to show. Don't put too much pressure on the players when they're having bad performances. Back them, because they can always find the way back.
I'm totally with you, Kev, and I think that you said something which I've spoken with Lewis about a couple of times as well, which is it going to stop there, or are we going to keep pushing on? And I guess I put this to a lot of fans watching. Just, are you happy? Are you satisfied? And there'll be a segment of the fan base who will be absolutely delighted, and there'll be another segment, maybe slightly more pessimistic than others, who say, well, I want more. This is what I expect. And I suppose there's no right or wrong answer, because it's all a game of opinions. But I do think that we need to just try and appreciate where we are at the moment. And even if we did drop points in a couple of games, I mean, we
are going to drop points.
I mean, let's just say December, for example. Oh, right. Because there's a great chance.
I can only see City being one of the games that drop points now.
Well, that's in January, Ken.
Yeah,
that's
I can't
late
see
January.
dropping points this month. We've played the 2 hardest teams already. I thought I said in that run with Zifata and Omley, I said Tottenham, I reckon we get a draw, and I thought Villa would be a draw. We've got to beat them convincingly. So
I thought we'd draw against Villa, but I thought we'd beat Tottenham. I think that Ipswich and Everton would be hard games.
Brentford at home is not easy either. I know their away form is dreadful this season. They've picked up 1 point on the road, but they have won their last 3 trips to Stamford Bridge. So, when I'm looking at games like that, like we can win a game like that, and we can win away at Everton. Like those two fixtures are like games that we've had really poor records in recent seasons. So if we can win against Brentford and we can win against Everton, that for me would be more impressive than beating Tottenham, because we always beat Tottenham. So like the Brentford and the Everton ones will actually give us a better indication of how much we've improved as a team.
It's mentally. Everton away 2 days before Christmas. We all know last year. It was same time last year as well, wasn't it? It was around Christmas last year.
Wolves was Boxing Day.
Wolves was Christmas Eve.
Everton was 20th the week before.
Yeah, Everton was.
Because I remember when Jackson was having that with that issue with that.
Was that away?
Yeah, Everton away.
Everton away, mate. That's the game that Reece James done his hamstring and had to go for surgery.
Yeah, I remember we were waiting for Poch.
Yeah, he came out.
And the bloody assistant manager come out and he ignored everyone.
The Poch just walked straight on the coach, and I shouted to Jackson, Jackson, leave Ashton alone, mate. And you can see that he was listening. But yeah, Everton away, like Charlie said, difficult game. It always is around Christmas. It's not an easy game. But mentally, if we can overcome these challenges going into the new year, just not about 4 points over Liverpool now. They've got a game in hand. We have to be considering ourselves as title contenders, but I think all of us have to just lower the expectancy.
Yeah,
just relax with it. It's good, but like I said a couple of months ago, just take it as a game by game scenario. Which we're doing now. Brentford's the next biggest. We're not looking at next month or the game after that.
Looking at the next
Brentford
game.
Is now our Overcup final. Go and beat them. And I think the more we go into each game with that mentality that we've got to play well and beat the team in front of us, that's the closer. At the end of the day, we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season. Liverpool are going to have a couple of games with a drop. The points between us now, it's not that, 4 points right now as we speak. We're in December. Who would have thought that we'd be 4 points away from top of the league in December? I don't think we'd be nowhere near it. I thought we'd be top 6 at best. We are overachieving right now, but there's still more to come. I think there's more to come in the Chelsea team.
But I think that's the big difference between like us and say, an Arsenal and whatnot, is that this team has got so much more room for improvement. We're 4 or 5 months into Enzo Maresca, and we're already playing this well. There's room for significant improvement with this team. So like that bodes really well for us, how much better we can get, because it does take a long time to understand the new way of playing, to understand new managers' tactics, get used to it all, and still gel with players who haven't really played an awful lot of football together as a team. So that's what bodes really well for us, is there's so much more room for improvement with this team. Whereas you look at an Arsenal, how much better are they really going to get? Probably not very much better. You look at Liverpool, I don't think there's much more to the level they're playing at right now. City will obviously get better. They're going for a difficult run right now. But you look at the top teams that are going to be competing, we've got so much more room for improvement. And I think that stands us in really good stead for maybe for the rest of the season, but certainly for the years coming forward. But in terms of a title race, look, if we get to February, March time and we're, within 6 points of the top of the table, then you can maybe change the conversation and shift the focus and think, do you know what, maybe we can potentially do something. But I think right now you just take it game by game. I'm looking at the gap to 5th place. That's now 6 points. We're 10, 11 points ahead of Tottenham and Newcastle. We're 8 points ahead of Aston Villa. 3 teams who you'd be thinking would be major contenders for that top 4 position. We're opening up a big gap between them. And as long as the gap between us and 5th place gets bigger, then that's the number one priority. But then if we get later down the line and we're still in touch, then we can maybe shift our focus and change the goals. But right now, just taking it game by game.
And this is what Enzo's saying as well. Enzo was shadowing what we're saying in his press conferences. The question is, are you in title race? He's back. He's playing it down. He's just saying we're going into games. And that's smart management. There's no pressure on these players whatsoever now. There's no pressure from us because we are not expecting to be. We are overachieving. We are all happy with what we're doing now. And this is the thing now. This is a unique situation for a Chelsea fan because we always want to be contending. But the last 3 years, we've been wanting to stay up. That's how shit it's been. But now we're at the other end of the table and the expected level's still low because we're just happy to get back to Champions League. So the way it's going at the moment, for the club, it's good. But let's keep grounded. There's still room for improvement. I feel like everybody from Sky Sports and BT keep on asking the question, our Chelsea in title race. It's obvious to see that we're there or thereabouts, but us as fans, just don't get carried away now. You know what I mean? Just take it game by game. Brentford, for me now, is a must-win. Like you said, 3 games has beat us at the Bridge. Embarrassing. Brentford, what Brentford? They was playing in non-league only, about 10 years ago, weren't they? In non-league?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, there was, yeah. So for them to beat us 3 years, imagine now, can't make it a 4th season. So Brentford now, that has got a priority. We've got to go and beat them. And it's not going to be an easy game, but that goal to show the mentality of this team has changed in coming leaps and bounds.
I suppose the question is then, is how long until, well, if we maintain our form, how long until we really have that expectation? Oh my God, we can actually do it.
I think next season,
No, I'm talking about this season, Charlie.
Oh.
I'm saying we keep maintaining this form in January, in February.
April.
When do you pop the question?
April.
Probably February,
We've got
March
to go
time.
and do this.
Well,
we can make this happen.
I'm going further than that. I'm going like into the last couple of months. Cause
yeah, maybe April, May
I don't
time.
want to change my head to make it. I don't want to be thinking in my head that we are, and then when the form does hit a bit of a stinker, they let us down, this and that. I'm just thinking.
But let's
right
remember
now,
this.
Mate, we shouldn't be nowhere near a title race.
Kev, let's remember this. Unlike these other teams that we're competing against, City, Liverpool, Arsenal, we don't have Champions League. Massive advantage if you're in a Premier League title race, which, again, we're not saying we're actually in it, but hey, listen, we'll have the conversation anyway. Because when they have a Saturday game against whoever in the Prem, they've also got a Tuesday or Wednesday game. We've got a Thursday game. We send out a completely different team, knowing that there's a 95% chance we're going to smash them anyway. And then we've still got a fresh team coming in on the weekend. Yeah. So
definitely
that's a massive advantage that later down the line, if we're still having this conversation, which might not happen.
And I feel like Liverpool's injuries have been good to them this year. The core of their team for the last 6-7 years hasn't changed much. You mean Van Dijk, Canute, Robertson, Trent, the core of their team. I feel like if they get a couple of knocks, Liverpool could be a different. We could be looking at a different Liverpool completely, because you strip the core out of Liverpool's team, they're not the same. So City, we all know Rodri, we've had Rodri there, a total different beast. Arsenal, they get a couple of injuries with us. We're not getting injuries, but we've also got a B team which is capable of coming in and doing the same job. We're different. Realistically, we should be looking at ourselves as title contenders, but from where we've come from, we can't. I feel like we've got to keep our heads, we've got to keep our feet on the ground, haven't we? Because we know with football, things can change. Look at Enzo's situation; things can change quickly. All it takes is a couple of bad results, and
you drop and you tumble down the table. So
yeah, so game by game. But other teams in and around us are in total different. This is the good thing about being. We've got A and a B team. Other teams haven't. Saka gets injured for Arsenal, they're fucked. If Liverpool, Van Dijk or Canute get injured, City, we've seen it without Rodri. It's not that with Chelsea. It's all like for like. So this is the thing, man. Like, we should be seeing ourselves as title contenders, but smart Chelsea fans don't. Just relax, enjoy it, and take it game by game. And if we get to say April times where we're still 4 points behind, maybe we can be like, you know what? Yeah, but until then, just relax.
I've got another. We'll move on briefly because we haven't even spoke about every player. I mean, my God, one of the man of the matches, if not the man of the match, Jadon Sancho as well. Yeah. He was one of the better players. I know Palmer got the award, but I had a few people saying to me, without Sancho, we don't win that game.
It was very good,
especially when you look at the goal that he had and the way he dominated. And he is in a very unique position in that front line. I'm not going to say he's like Palmer. I mean, Palmer's just undroppable. But we all know that there's competition in those wings. And the argument is, who is the best players to start on that left and right-hand side? You've got Madueke in the conversation. Mudryk, not really. And then you've got Neto and Sancho as well. But we saw him start on Thursday night, same against Villa. And again today. That's 3 games in a row. Very unusual.
He didn't start against Southampton.
Oh, yeah, he didn't start it. No. Oh, fuck. Oh, all right, fair enough. That argument's out the window.
Who was that against Southampton?
He started Madueke and Felix against Southampton.
Yeah.
Sorry, that my mistake. So what I was going to say is he's still starting a lot more games than I expected when he come back. To come on the Thursday night against Heidenheim, have a great game, balling out afterwards in the Premier League, and he's just maintaining that form. He looks so calm, so composed.
Yeah. That's what I'm getting from him. I'm seeing a player that with his
Go on, Kev, speak.
yeah with his weight to pass, and that's it. It's the weight to pass, man. That's what strikes me with him. He doesn't overhit it. When he needs to play the ball, in a couple of occasions yesterday, when the ball was getting in the back of Tottenham, where you need to play that ball with the weight of pace in behind, it wasn't overhit, it wasn't undercooked. It was just right. The ball was always his final product. I think amazing final product's been, and that goal as well. Obviously, it's just like we could see it from where I was sitting. We could see what he wanted to do, and he executed it brilliantly. The ball literally just literally, what's the word I'm looking for?
Fizzed.
Yeah, it spanned round the goalkeeper. Doing it is technique wise brilliant, and
Good on the eyes.
yeah, it was brilliant, man. Like he was up there with a man of the match, but for me, Palmer had to have it. Palmer had to have it. Yeah.
But remember I've said to you before, mate. Like he doesn't. Sancho don't shoot enough. Now we're seeing him, take the shot on a bit more, and he's got that ability. He's got that technique, and he does have that in his locker. So. Goals is something that he can definitely add to his game. We see that he's got a few assists, and I think he's got 3 assists and 2 goals in 9 Premier League appearances this season. So 5 GNA and 9 appearances in the league. That's not bad going for someone who's not played an awful lot of football over the past year or so. And yeah, even defensively as well. Like I think Maresca after the game, singled out him and Neto for their contribution off the ball, their defensive work. And Sancho had this tag at United that he was a lazy player. He didn't track back. He didn't do this defensive work. He wasn't much of a team player. We're getting none of that at Chelsea at all. And like when he speaks in interviews and stuff, he comes across polite. He comes across very well. And he looks like he's genuinely happy to be here. Like he's grateful for this opportunity because this really is his last opportunity certainly at a big Premier League club. Given what had happened at United, and he's making the most of it. He's performing to a great level. He's happy to be there. He's back in London. He was a Chelsea fan as a kid, and everything he's doing is obviously is going in the right direction. His performances are improving. He's working hard for the team. Going forward, he's a threat and he's contributing. And I think we had this conversation the other week when Lewis and Nina were here. Those two are probably our strongest wing pairing, Sancho and Neto.
What separates them from Madueke and Mudryk?
Final product, end product. Neto yesterday, they don't hesitate with Nani.
But a direct as well.
Yeah, Nani's Nani against Southampton wasn't doing that, where he cuts inside and he'll take that second to think about if he wants to shoot or pass. It's got to be football in those areas run on instincts. When you cut inside, you don't hesitate. Bang, shot. And Nani did it against Southampton. He cut inside on his left foot. What happened? Shot. Great finish into the corner. Sancho yesterday, cut inside. It's instinct. Neto, for me, is our best winger because he doesn't hesitate. He'll cut inside on his favourite left and he'll whip the ball in straight away. Doesn't matter. He won't think. He'll just look and do it. And Sancho yesterday hit the nail on the head. Hard work. I seen him busting his lungs to get back. And when Tottenham was on a counter, I think in the second half, and Sancho was literally, I was so impressed with his work ethic to want to get back and help out Cucurella. And that for me, for considering how the Man United fan base and management slandered his name and said, that he wasn't working hard. Yeah, and he's come back and he's proven to himself. I think more than anything, he's proven to himself that he can do it. After coming out of that, was having the embarrassment in Man United, having to train with the youth setup and stuff like that. I think he's thinking, what now? This is my time to shine, and he's clearly doing it here. But it's not all. We've had to give him the foundations. The manager's giving the foundations. He's believing in him. Obviously, the players around him. So it's working all. Everything's set up for him to achieve things at Chelsea, and I feel like this is it now. We've got the best of Sancho at Chelsea, and I'm so happy we've taken him from Man United for what, £20 million.
He's a player that just needs like a bit of love, a bit of an arm around the shoulder. And I think at Chelsea you've created an environment for him that is enabling him to thrive. He gets on with the players. He knows a lot of the players from his youth days and whatnot, and. He knows someone. He's got a manager in Maresca who is, giving him that arm around the shoulder, showing him some love, praising him. And sometimes players just need a bit of that to help with their self-esteem, to help with that with their mental side of the game as well. And at Chelsea, it seems like he's got an environment in which is perfectly set up for him to thrive in, and we're getting the benefits of that on the pitch.
Absolutely. I mean, Just before we finish up, guys. I mean, where do you honestly see us finishing based on where we are at the moment? Do you think that we'll finish?
I think we'll finish third.
Third, and behind who?
Behind Liverpool and Arsenal.
Oh, okay. Kev?
Fourth. I think it'd be the way I'm feeling right now. Liverpool top, Arsenal second, City third, us fourth. I feel like City they've had that much of a bad form. We all know
they'll be back.
Second half of the season, City, what happens? They usually pick up, don't they, and they'll go on a mad run of games. I thought that's going to come. I still feel like Chelsea are going to have a bit of a blip, probably 2-3 games where we get frustrated by teams. So that's still going to come yet. So hopefully all of us are prepared for that. But I'm happy to be saying top 4. I am over the moon.
That's what the aim is at the end of the day. We need to get back in the Champions League. Let's win the Conference League, and then next year we build. Yeah.
Next year, my
expectations go up.
Yeah, it's got to because we've got to. We're probably investing in the defence and the goalkeeping areas, which we know are our weak points. Once they're invested in, we've got to be looking challenge. But for me personally, my expectations are low. I'm happy with 4. I am over the moon with 4th, so I'm just going to say 4th.
Over the moon.
Over the moon.
Well, given what it's been like for the last 2 seasons, we need to get back in the Champions League.
I would be very happy as well, to be fair. But I think that, I mean, if you're going on current form, if you're going on injuries as well, I mean, if Arsenal have injuries, I think that will affect them more than it will affect us. We've seen with City, their injuries have real impact as well. Right. So if we don't get injuries, there's no reason why we can't finish ahead of both of them. But I think Liverpool is the one team that just have that stability. And Slot he's a bit like Maresca, isn't he? They don't make a lot of noise, but they move in silence.
It's not even Slot. It's just Liverpool's backbone. I think he's inherited a squad of players that have played with each other consistently for 7-8 years.
It does help, but he's done a very good job. Right? It certainly helps, like having the squad have basically played together for the last 4 or 5 years. That does make a big difference. He's made a few changes here and there. Yeah. When you've got all the same players and they all know each other so well, it doesn't half make a difference.
You know, Van Dijk from playing in Holland as well. So imagine going into that team first day and then calling your captain over, which you know already. Sit down with him saying, what do you feel we need to do and this and that. Getting experience. Van Dijk is Mr. Liverpool, isn't he? So that's why they're where they are. It's not because if Arne inherited Chelsea's team, I don't think Chelsea would be top. Yeah. I don't think we'd be top of the league. I think we'd be doing great, but it would have been because Liverpool have got that core experience, players that have been there with the last title winning team to now. It's easy from takeover. That's where they are. But like I says, their squad is nowhere near strong as ours. They pick up a couple of injuries. That 4 points could be 1 point before you know it.
I'm going to say based on current form, I'd say third. I think we'll finish behind probably City. But I think we'll finish in front of Arsenal. I think we will because they're just not playing good football. They're only doing set pieces. So a couple of injuries. Let's say Gabriel gets injured. They're in big trouble because half the set pieces they score are from him. But yeah, I mean, listen, guys, we're going to round it up there. If you haven't already downloaded Omely, our sponsors, please check them out. All right, there's a link in the description. It's an app designed specifically for football fans by a football fan. Believe it or not, he's a Chelsea fan as well. His name's Pan. I've always made a little poem there. Yeah, listen, it's totally free. Check it out. I'm going to be doing a review on there during the week of this game, as well as previews for other games in the future. Hope you enjoyed the podcast, guys. Thank you so much, Charlie and Kev, for jumping on. Appreciate your time. Always. And we will catch up very, very soon. All the best, guys.